News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly cloudy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. This President's Days 2022. Currently, we're looking at 30 degrees at the airport, 33 here at Radio Center. Downtown Midland is at 30. Downtown Bay City is currently at 32. We have a northeast breeze, so it is a little chilly out there, 16 miles per hour, but certainly nothing like what we experienced over the weekend, where we had not only 1 but 2 days where our winds were gusting to better than 50 mile an hour. Yesterday, that's what we had, pretty close to it. We were at 46 miles per hour. And on Friday night and early Saturday, we were looking at wind gusts of right around 50 miles per hour. So pretty nasty. Temperatures, for the most part, tried to moderate just a little bit. And that's what's going to be happening over the next couple of days. We're going to have a rather mild period. Our projected high temperature for the day today is right around 36. And our low tonight, it's not going to drop all that much. We're looking for a low of right around 36 degrees as well. We're going to drop down just a little bit, not much, after midnight. And then the temperature is going to go up to about 42 for the day tomorrow. But tomorrow night, once the low pressure system, that's going to give us all sorts of a mess as we go through the overnight hours tonight and pretty much all day long tomorrow. Temperatures are really going to drop down. We're going to have a northeast wind for a good part of the day tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, it'll become a little bit more westerly. And along with that is going to come some cooler temperatures because a cold front will be moving through late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. We'll drop down to right around 18. Then on Wednesday, we'll be below average, about 23 for a high and 12 for a low. Where should we be this time of the year? 33 in the afternoon and 19 at night. What's going on? 2 low pressure systems affecting our weather. One of them affecting us right now with quite a bit of cloudiness, and it's pushing a stationary front for the most part now. It was a warm front, but this stationary front is running right along the Michigan border with Indiana and Ohio. Eventually, what's going to happen is another low pressure system is going to be pushing up. Currently, that is right now over Oklahoma. That low is going to move into southern Illinois, eventually work its way through the Fort Wayne areas to the north of Fort Wayne, cross the southern part of the lower peninsula, especially southeast Michigan, moving into the lower thumb area as we go through the day tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, once it clears Lake Huron and gets off into Canada, that's when we're going to see the cold front move through and the wind direction and the temperatures change. So that, in a nutshell, is what's going to happen over the next 36 hours. In the meantime, we do have a winter storm watch up for, I want to say, the northern 40% of the lower peninsula. There is going to be quite a bit of freezing precipitation in northern Michigan. It's also going to be mixed with some heavy wet snow. There will be some areas in the northern third of the lower peninsula that will pick up at least 4 inches, if not more, of snow. And then that snow, rain, sleet mix for the north central part of the lower peninsula. We're right in the area, the Great Lakes Bay region, where our temperature is going to be quite mild for a good part of the day tomorrow. So that's going to keep us on the wet side of things when it comes to the precipitation. But then late Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night, whatever is wet is really going to freeze over, because that's when the winds are going to change. We'll see a northeast breeze for the day tomorrow. It's going to start off really, it's northeast right now. It'll become a little bit more easterly as we go into the evening hours tonight. That's when the second low pressure system begins to take effect, and then northeast wind. We're not looking for real strong gusty winds out of this low, probably because the center of the low is going to be pretty close to right over top of us. So usually we don't see the real strong gusty winds when the low is really close. When it starts to get a little ways away from us and build like this one is, that's when the winds are a lot stronger. So we mentioned to you what the forecast is going to be. Cloudy skies, front along the Michigan border today. It's going to start to inch its way up just a little bit tonight. 36 for a high, 36 for a low tonight, as that low, the stationary front works its way up ever so slowly. Very heavy rains running from southern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Those folks anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rain tonight and tomorrow morning. We're not going to see that much here. Tomorrow, the low crosses the southern half of the lower peninsula. It'll be over Lake Ontario by tomorrow night. And that's why we're going to see ice and then snow quite likely late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, 23 for a high, 12 for a low. Moving into Thursday, more in the way of clouds. We'll be in the middle 20s for the most part on Thursday with clouds. Another system will be moving in, affecting our weather on Thursday night and Friday morning. Real good chance of snow on Thursday night with a low of 20. Then on Friday, we're not going to pick up much in the way of temperature. 23 for a high, 8 for a low on Friday night. Snow shower activity right now looks like it's going to be around at least for the morning hours on Friday. Saturday, partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy late. Middle 20s for a high, 20 for a low on Saturday, which is good news for the folks over in Caro for the Caro Toy Show. That's going to be on Saturday at the Brentwood in Caro. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, upper 20s for a high. Long range to take us all the way through the 6th of March. What we're seeing right now with these mild temperatures, they're going to go away. We're going to maintain below average temperature and below average moisture starting roughly about the 26th, 27th, so the upcoming weekend through the first full weekend of the month of March. Record high in this state is 64. That was set back in 1930. The record low 6 below zero, set way back in 1914 and tied in 1918. 6:15 a sunset tonight, 7:24 sunrise tomorrow morning. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. No markets today with the President's Day holiday, but Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West talks a little bit about how the markets finished up this last weekend. And what are we looking at here for the last full week of trading in February? He comes along, but before we join him, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Wiki Crop. They want to remind you that if you are the recipient of an FSA WHIP Plus program situation, you do need to obtain crop insurance as a condition of payment eligibility. Any program that you have, any crop that you have paid under the WHIP Plus program. So now's the time to contact Kyle, get all the details. Give him a call, 989-284-9975, or visit wikicrop.com. Now, of course, that crop insurance deadline is going to come really quick, so now is the time to get a hold of Kyle today. We say good morning to Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. Gary, from what I understand, it's been a busy morning for you already.
Yeah, good morning there, Terry. Yeah, even though the markets are closed today, there's always other activities to fill your day with for sure. So,
well, you've had a chance to talk to a few other folks about what the commodities are doing to us. But before you elaborate a little bit on that, how did we close on Friday, Gary?
actually, wheat turned to negative late in the day. We were down a penny on cash wheat on Friday, so that made the close 767 on the white, 732 on the red. New crop actually was unchanged Friday there at 795 on the white, 735 on the red. Cash corn ended up at a late day rally, and we were up 4 at 604 on the cash. And new crop is actually up a penny at 543. And cash soybeans ended up 9 at 1541, and new crop was up a couple at 1398.
So taking a look at the markets here, projecting out just a few days anyway, it looks like the same old when it comes to the globe out there, right?
Yeah, the storyline remains the same for sure in the grain complex. As we were leaving here Friday, heading into our 3-day weekend here with the markets being closed. Of course, in the wheat arena, you have the Russia-Ukraine tensions remaining very high, and so that's a lot of focus. With the Black Sea region, Russia and Ukraine being the number 1 and number 3 wheat exporters of the world. That's as been on the front burner besides South America weather. That's been the other and people continue to watch that production, and as they continue to harvest down there, Terry, and whether that number's going to keep declining, kind of interesting to note, and especially in the soybean, we finished stronger again here last week. Soybeans were up actually 18 last week, and finished Friday higher for the third straight day. What was kind of significant about Friday's trade, we had a recent high in March futures of 1633 back on February 10th. And actually on Friday, it was the first time we closed March soybean futures. We're able to settle above $16, and we did that on Friday. So we're going to see a lot of volatility for sure as we open the trade tonight, I think. And corn was, corn as well. I mean, Friday was our third consecutive up day in corn, and actually on new crop December corn futures, we kind of made a new contract high there. So, and that continues to be supported by the uncertainty and ongoing situation with Russia and Ukraine, and it boils down in some of these other commodities. And of course, falling South American production is huge for soybeans, and so it's. The bottom line is, the grain complex, the storyline remains the same.
So have we finally figured out if South America is going to have a decent crop or not?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how far along they are in harvest, but I know as we move forward, we're going to, possibly make some adjustments in that production again. You continue to see China come to the table. Taking new crop beans maybe a little sooner than they normally would, just because of supply availability. They got to have a kind of a back burner plan or a backup plan to secure supply. So, so you're seeing some of that happen as well. So I think the jury's still out. We got a ways to go there with their harvest, and at the end of the day, the demand side hasn't slowed down either, Terry, and I think that's the other important part. They always say high prices cure high prices, but I tell you what, it's interesting times for sure. So.
Boy, it sure is. And you mentioned demand. I've got a story that I'm going to punch up right after we leave together about containers, availability of containers to ship product.
Oh, yeah.
We're a little short on those.
Yep. We're facing that pretty much weekly here at our own place. So trying to get containers to ship product. So
Gary, take care. Have a good day. We'll talk to you again soon. All right.
All right. Sounds good, Terry.
All righty. Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. And of course, Star of the West, as well as a number of other folks, are going to be attending a couple of the events. One in particular, when it comes to wheat, Star of the West, along with the folks at Nutrient Ag, are going to be at the Michigan Winter Wheat Program. That is on Wednesday, the 23rd. That meeting opens at 8:30 with registration, continental breakfast, and an opportunity to talk to some industry folks there. It'll be the first time since 2019 that they've had one of these now. 9 a.m. to 3:30 in the afternoon. That's when the presentations are going to be. If you'd like more information on it, just go to miwheat.org. The other event is the Bean and Beet Day. That is tomorrow. That's going to be at Doubletree in Bay City. All that activity kicks off at about 10 o'clock in the morning and will go until around 4:30 in the afternoon. And again, you're going to have a chance to socialize with quite a few of the industry experts and also listen up to some pretty good programs as well. The market report has been brought to you today by the folks at Schaefer and Beerline. They are the Great Lakes Bay Area's certified ag dealer. So if you'd like a new Ram commercial truck or van for your everyday use for family, farm, and business today, the place to go is Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth since 1852, where family and service sells cars. And by Thumb Bank, serving the needs of farmers for well over 125 years. A couple locations in Bay City also, Cass City, Caseville, Pigeon, and Bad Axe, Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. We're going to be talking Derek Sawatsky in a moment from Yo and Yo, but before we do that, let's touch base with Ashley Davenport with Michigan Ag Today. She talks a little bit about that container issue that we're looking at right now.
There are just shy of 62,000 empty shipping containers at all Port of Los Angeles terminals. There are 25 total vessels waiting to be unloaded, which is down from January's peak of 109. While this logjam is slowly starting to get untangled, this has slowed the pace of products leaving the U.S.
They come over with electronics, unload them, take grain products back. That's the way it's worked. And at sometimes there's almost so many containers over here, they'll not quite take them back to Asia for free, but it's a backhaul, so it's a reduced rate.
Chuck Kunish is a branch manager for Michigan Agricultural Commodities. The gridlock at the ports jams up other transportation methods across the country.
The trains that are bringing the product into the port can't get into the port because there's no way to unload them. Then it backs up to Chicago and Detroit, where the railroads won't even load the containers on a train because they don't want a train sitting full of containers they can't unload.
Kunish says when there's this backlog, places like MAC are sitting on grain.
This container thing just completely derailed shipping product by containers to Asia.
In December 2021, the House passed the Ocean Shipping Reform Act. That's to make it easier for ag products to get to their overseas destinations. The American Farm Bureau, National Milk Producers Federation, and other organizations have voiced their support. However, Kunish says there needs to be an easing of trucking regulations in California, an end to the trucking strike in Canada, and more labor to really see progress.
Even if we're getting ahead on the containers, now we're falling apart on everything else we got to ship across the border. We're just stopped. We can't ship corn or soybeans or containers over to Ontario, and we can't bring wheat back.
Earlier this month, the Senate introduced its version of the Ocean Shipping Reform Act.
Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Kryzak's House Family Restaurant. If you've got an event coming up and you need to supply the food, 989-894-5531 is the telephone number. Kryzak's House. And don't forget Punchki Day, a week from tomorrow. That'll be March the 1st. We'll have a lot more on that as we approach the event. This reminder, Coffee with Corn, tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about the global market update and get some questions and answers to a gentleman by the name of Ryan LeGrand, who's with the U.S. Grains Council. So join us tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for Coffee with Corn. We say good morning to Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Jerry, what's going on?
Gary, you know, this weather with his ice and possibly coming, we're always concerned about that, but I think we're going to slip by okay. It's going to get warm enough, soon enough. We should be okay to not have a lot of breaking branches from, particularly on our smaller plants. Larger plants, again, we talk about pruning large trees. Just because a tree's been there a long time doesn't mean it wouldn't benefit by some help. Now is the time you should be calling an arborist or tree trimmer, come in and get those trees thinned out. Actually, it would have been better a while back because, again, if you have properly attached branches and trees that are pruned well, they won't break, split, fall apart near as bad.
Yeah, and especially with those winds, even though we haven't had to contend with a lot of ice, these winds have just been terrible on some of these bigger trees.
Terry, they have been, but again, if you prune continually, now again, it's hard when you have a large tree that's been there for 100 years to go back and say it should have been trimmed 80 years ago. But at the end of the day, if we just pay attention and trim our trees for structural integrity and take the dead wood out periodically, you don't constantly have that stuff dropping in the yard. So again, even though they're large trees, doesn't mean that maintenance can't help them.
Good advice. Jerry, take care. We'll talk to you again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. We mentioned about the Some Area Old Engine and Tractor Association having their 18th annual Farm Collectibles and Toy Show this coming Saturday. That'll be from 8:30 till 3 at the Brentwood in Caro. They'll be displaying farm toys, antiques, collectibles, and literature. This is a buy, sell, and swap event. $3 donation for adults. Children 12 and under are admitted free. And the folks at Steiner Tractor Parts, new parts for old tractors, invite you to the 18th annual Farm Collectibles and Toy Show at the Brentwood in Caro. Along with me, Eric Sawatsky, Yo and Yo Accounting in Saginaw. Eric, understand that we've had grants coming at us from all different directions. If people can take advantage of them, they are pretty good. But understand now there's a new grant available for certain businesses. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Terry, there is a new grant program that the state is coming out with, and it's for what they're calling afflicted businesses that were affected basically from the shutdowns and everything during COVID. These are COVID relief funds that came from federal bills to the state of Michigan, and they're looking to allocate some of this money to those businesses. It's somewhat specific in what businesses would qualify. Give you kind of a quick rundown of the list here. Entertainment venues like a banquet hall, a theater, stadium, sporting venue, any of those types of places, conference center. Any recreational facilities, so it could be a bowling alley, a water park, a nightclub, casino, arcade, cosmetology or barber services, an exercise facility or gym, any food service establishments, restaurants and such, nursery, dealer or grower, athletic trainer, a body art facility, or a hotel or bed and breakfast. So very specific to those industries, but if any businesses in those industries saw a decrease in income during the 2020, 2021 period, mostly just during 2020, based on how much their sales went down during that period, would determine how large of a grant they'd be eligible for. But this is limited to those industries, and it's also limited in time. So the application period opens March 1st and actually closes March 31st. So there's just a 31 day period to get those applications in. If you have questions, need more detail on that, feel free to call us at Yo and Yo. We can get you more details and find out if you'd be eligible.
Very interesting. Good information. Eric, we really appreciate it. You take care, all right?
You too, Terry.
I will. Eric Sawatsky at Yo and Yo Accounting right here in Saginaw. Experience the most reliable RTK signal from PC Ag Solutions, compatible with most GPS receivers. Trade in your old radio or modem and get an affordable subscription through us. We have over 25 base station locations across the Lower Peninsula, and we're always looking to add more to our network. Discover more power, more accuracy, and more coverage with our 450 megahertz signal. Call us to learn more today. PC Ag Solutions, 989-868-4444. Farm Service been brought to you today by the folks at Foster Blue Water Oil. They invite each and every one of you to stop by and say hello at the Bean and Beat Day at the Doubletree tomorrow. Back at 12:30 with an update. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Biden to meet with his national security team, while in Moscow, Vladimir Putin met with advisors as the world watches Ukraine. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Russia claims it's killed 5 of what it calls saboteurs who breached the country's southwest border from Ukraine. Kyiv calls the claims fake news. The U.S. and its allies have been worried Moscow would create a border incident as a pretext to attack Ukraine. In the meantime, Russian President Putin has told his Security Council to consider an appeal from separatist leaders in eastern Ukraine to recognize them as independent.
Britain's Defense Secretary Ben Wallace told his country's parliament that there continue to be signs of a buildup in Russian forces.
They don't go with a big bang and just arrive in a big invasion. They soften up their targets using sub-threshold